Hola, hola everyone. Welcome back to the Resin Lab by Alexandra. For those of you that don't know, hola, hola means hello, hello. This is episode 9, and today I'm going to be making a jewelry box. It can also be used for dominoes. I have made boxes this size to use for dominoes, but I haven't dabbled in dominoes in quite some time since I started resin. I might pick it back up and make a few sets for the next few craft markets that I have. Um, but yeah, this is a great box to do. You can use it for jewelry, coins, trinkets, candy, all kinds of stuff. So I pulled out, and I have a P on these because this is from the Rolio Pastel um, set. So I pulled out Nightshade and Sweet Rose because I love the way these two colors look. And I think I'm going to put glue, but I'm not going to put as much. I noticed that putting glue in my resin when it's pre-warmed to 30 degrees Celsius, one, makes it gooey, which is supposed to do that because that's the whole point, is for it to make it gooey so it doesn't mix, so your colors don't mix together to make a new one. But two, it also speeds up the curing time. And so I think that's also, so I just want to try using a little bit less glue to see if I still get the same result. And I don't have to be rushing while making my piece. Now on the top part of the piece, I have a Waterslide decal. I mentioned this in a previous video that I would go into detail on how to use a water slide on your project. So this little guy I got on Creative Fabrica, and when I'm making clocks, I print out the bigger designs, and I can only use that print on that paper once. And so I try to print smaller images to put on other things so that I'm not wasting the paper. So this was one of the extra images that I had left over. So I'm going to place that little guy there and then do a clear top coat, probably for the 4-hour fast cure, just so that it cures quicker. But yeah, so that's the plan for today. So let me go ahead and mix up these two. The whole box itself should take about 240 to 250 milliliters together. So I'm going to mix that amount of resin, and then I'll mix in the colors and debubble, and then it'll be time to pour. Okay, I'm back. I've got about 240 milliliters mixed. So I'm going to split this into a separate cup, and that way I can mix one of the two colors. I hope everyone had a great weekend and is ready for the new year. I can't believe the new year is right around the corner. If you've just joined me, I just started my channel a couple weeks ago. I would love it if you subscribed and followed me. And here I think we will have nice adventures together and pour some resin. And of course, I forgot to pour the color on the bottom of that cup to mix it. So that's okay though. This is a beautiful color. I love that Rolio fills their containers all the way up to the top. It's just, you get a really good amount of product, I've noticed, with Rolio. So shout out to them. I'll do 2 scoops of the Nightshade. And actually, I think I'll do 3 because I want the colors to be nice and opaque. Okay, so that's the Nightshade. Let me clean off that spoon. And this is the Sweet Rose. And if you're ever interested in purchasing one of my items that I make on the videos, not everything goes into my Etsy shop. As of January 1st, I will be opening an eBay store. So that is where I'll be posting more products as I make them, so that they're available to you if you choose to buy one, or if you want to order something similar, there's a reference point for you to tell me, you know, oh, video, whatever number, episode number, and then I can make it for you. Or you can look at the links in the description below and see what you need and make it yourself, whatever works for you. That is a pretty, it looks, I like the color. I like the name of it, called Nightshade. I would have expected it to be the name of like a blue or a gray or black maybe. It's interesting that this color is named Nightshade, but it's more on the lavender side. Nonetheless, it is pretty. Now, one of the big thing with this mold, these two molds, is bubbles forming right under the slip here. So you definitely want to debubble your resin, colored or not, if you have the tools to do so, because trust me, you will get bubbles under these lips. They just get trapped in there, and you know, you can always fix it and cover it with other embellishments, but I would like to see if this piece works. I've made a couple of them where I did get some bubbles, because that was before I had the vacuum chamber, and so my bubble remover machine didn't work that well on the silicone cups, and neither does the vacuum chamber, but that's okay. I can fit more in the vacuum chamber anyway. I had wanted one for quite some time, and my bubble machine doesn't remove the bubbles from tinted or resin that has mix-ins anyway. So I really like my vacuum chamber. But anyhow, my point, what was my point? My point was that you want to make sure that you debubble as much as you can before you pour into this mold. And this mold comes with these cardboard pieces to keep it sturdy, so that it has an actual rectangular shape, so that it doesn't warp after you pour. So you definitely want to wait to put these on until after you've poured, and I'll go through that as I'm showing you, because it's a little more flexible to get into the crevices, and then put the wood pieces up. Okay, so that's actually, yeah, that's that. I won't put the glue in just yet. I want to mix this resin. That is a very pretty pink. I like it. I think it'll match. Now I put the little decal aside because I don't want it getting wet with alcohol or anything, because that is a water slide, and even though the alcohol isn't water, the liquid could dislodge, or it could loosen the paper from the back. So I don't want to risk doing that. So I have that set aside. But I will show you how that works with water. Now, you must remember, when you're working with resin and water slide decals, you have to make sure that your water slide decal is completely dry before you do a top coat. Otherwise, your piece will be ruined. And thankfully, I haven't had that happen to me yet. I've been patient and waited for my water slide decals to dry completely, and I haven't had a problem with it. So definitely make sure that you take that into account. You don't want to put the Waterslide decal and then pour a clear coat on top of it while it's wet, because resin and water don't mix, and you'll just ruin your piece. So definitely keep that in mind. So in other words, don't mix your top coat until your water slide is super dry. I like that color. Okay. That's nice and mixed up. I'll wipe off my stick. Okay, so normally I do 1 drop of glue per 30 milliliters, which is about an ounce. I have 120 milliliters, so I'm going to do 2 drops today instead of 4 and see how that works. Okay. All right. All right, yep, I can feel it getting nice and thick, but it's still workable. It's not too gooey. Perfect. I think I might even put this into my, well, no, because I have to debubble. I was thinking of putting this into my silicone cup that has multiple slats where you can put multiple colors in it, but if I debubble this and then pour it into that silicone cup, then I'm going to add bubbles to it. So I'd rather just pour it directly into the mold. Come on. Come on. Maybe I need to mix it up a little more. Yeah, this consistency is much better for me personally to work with. I don't like the overly thick consistency. All right, time to debubble this in the vacuum chamber. I'll be right back. Okay, I've debubbled the 2 colors. They look great. I've never seen colored resin debubbled so beautifully, and I'm in the habit of spraying the top of it to get rid of the bubbles, but really it didn't need it. So let's do the bottom part first. Spritz some alcohol on all 4 sides. And I'm going to pour it about halfway, and then open that up. So see, you want to open up the sides so that the resin can get in there. So I'm going to take some purple and pour that here. Take some of this, pour that there. And I love how that looks already. Okay, squeeze out those bubbles. Okay, so it's about 3/4 of the way full. I think, I really hope I don't need another batch, but we'll see. Let's do that there. The good thing is I don't need to pour my top all the way because I'm going to do the decal, so that's good. And I'm loving this color. Okay, I think I can put the wooden base on. And these are just interlocking. Again, they come with the mold. Oops. They come with the mold. So they just interlock like so. And then what I do is I just make sure that I've gotten some, let's see, I've got a piece down here. So before I put it in the wooden base, I'm going to take my tool, my squeegee tool, and get the resin into those air pockets there. I don't want any cracks on this. Got a big bubble right here. And you want to do this again before you finish topping it off and before you put it on the wooden base so it's easier to maneuver. Probably should have used my dotting tool instead. And if you're ever wondering, you know, how I clean my tools, I just use regular alcohol, the 99% alcohol that I use to pop the bubbles. That's what I use to clean my tools. I think once I put this back into the wooden base, it'll be fine. I'm just checking one last time for any potential bubbles or air pockets, trapped air pockets. So let's try this tool here. Here we go. That's better. Okay. So let's take this frame, drop it in there. And you can see as I'm dropping it in the frame, the resin kind of built up a little bit, which is fine. So I'm going to pour just a tad more to fill it up to the top. And this is the bottom piece. So that is ready to go. Okay. So I am short, I want to say probably another 100 milliliters around the edges, which is a bummer. But nonetheless, I'm going to mix another 100 milliliters and then pour whatever I need back in, and then wait for that to cure. And then I'll show you all how to do the water slide decal. Whoops. That came apart. Actually, I shouldn't be doing this yet. I should mix the additional resin before I do that. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back and I'm excited because I didn't want to use two 8-ounce plastic cups just to mix 100 milliliters and then have to divide it into 50 milliliters each. I went ahead and used these silicone cups and tried it again in my vacuum chamber, and it worked fine. I think I just need to leave it in there a couple extra minutes and just monitor it. I can see a few teeny tiny bubbles, but nothing a little bit of alcohol won't take care of. So I think I'm safe to go back to my silicone cups. I do know that if I put glue in them, that it will rise. So I have to make sure that the cup is deep enough so that if bubbles do rise, it doesn't spill over. But I'm excited. I'm truly excited. So let's get the rest of this poured. And it looks like I matched the shade pretty well. So that's good. Oops. And this is probably more than what I need, but I didn't want to risk having to remix again. So I'm going to go place these on the heat mat and find something else to pour, and give me just a moment. Okay, I pulled out this dream. I was gonna do a couple of smaller items, but I don't want to, honestly, I have quite a bit of giveaway stuff right now. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pour the dream. My plan was to make more anyway. Okay, that's that. I'm gonna put that on the heat mat. Then I'll do a back coat off camera just because this is not the main piece today. And then I will see you all at demold. It is time to put the decal on the top of the jewelry box. So I have a bowl of water and I have my decal. Moving my jewelry box over for just a second. So all I'm going to do is just dip this in the water and just let the water absorb into the decal, and very gently make sure that you're not poking at it with any sort of tools because it can rip very easily. And I don't normally time it. I just kind of eyeball when it's ready, when it's not curling up anymore. And try to pull up the edge to it. It's still not ready. You don't want it to be too wet and you don't want it to be too dry because either one could rip, make it rip easily. So see here, it's starting to curl up, so that means it's ready to come off. Here is my box. And it's good to also take a couple drops of water and rub it on your piece just so it makes it easier to maneuver the decal. And then you just tap it. Notice how it's sliding off. So you'll just want to gently hold one side of your decal while you gently pull the other side out. Hence the Waterslide name. And there you go. As long as you've got water on your piece, you're able to maneuver this and position it the way you'd like. And then what I like to do is dab it with a napkin to soak up that excess water. You want to, again, be very careful not to rip your decal. You can see that it's still kind of moving around. And then lastly, you'll just want to squeegee out any water from underneath. And once you squeegee out the water from underneath the decal, it will stay in place a little bit easier. And then you'll just want to let it dry for a minimum of 2 hours. So now that I've got all the water squeegeed out, I'm gonna let this air dry again for a minimum of 2 hours. I'm just dabbing it one last time, and then I'll be back to do the top coat. It's time to top coat. So it's been about 2.5 hours. Yes, about 2.5 hours since I put the water slide onto the decal. I did put the top of this whole piece back on the heat mat, just to speed up the drying process a little bit, but even then I still waited the full 2 hours before mixing my top coat. I'm using the 4-hour fast cure for the top coat, and I mixed, excuse me, I mixed 75 milliliters because I have another piece that I'm gonna pour the back of off camera. So really, if anything, I'm gonna use maybe 10 milliliters, if that, on the top. So if you're doing a top coat to something like around this size, then I would say 10 milliliters is good, and then you can always pour into smaller molds as extras or bonus items. So yeah. So that was maybe about 5 to 10 milliliters right there, if that. So I'm gonna grab my silicone tool to spread the resin out. And I don't debubble the fast cure. I'm gonna use a lighter to pop the bubbles. And it's such a thin coat on the top anyhow that it should be fine. Shouldn't have too many. Normally I would torch it, but I don't want to ruin my mold. Definitely don't torch if you still have your piece in the mold. If this piece was demolded already, then I would use the torch. But yeah, I don't want to. I've ruined molds before using the torch as a novice resin artist, and I couldn't figure out why for the life of me. Why my molds wouldn't last and why they were ripping and sticking to my projects, and I realized I was using my torch too much, or just using a torch in general, so when I shouldn't have. And as of the making of this video, I am up to 90 subscribers. So thank you so much for those of you that have started watching my videos and have subscribed to the channel. I'm excited to have you followers know when I upload videos, and you know, I've read some comments and they've been really nice, and a few of you have given me some tips already, which is great. So thank you very much. Truly appreciate your support. I did not expect to reach 90 subscribers. I kid you not, yesterday was Saturday, and I recorded part of this video on Friday because I knew I was going to be, or sorry, on Thursday, Christmas Day, because I was going to be out of town Friday, Saturday, and part of today, which is Sunday. So between yesterday and today, I reached 90 subscribers. And to me, I mean, maybe for other people that's nothing, but for me, that's huge. So thank you again for your support. Okay. So the top coat on this is pretty much done. I'm not going to bore you with the rest of the details. I'm just going to keep an eye on it. Probably pop some more bubbles with the flame a little bit closer so I can see, and then put it on the heat mat for about 2 hours, and then I'll come back and we'll demold everything. Well, everything meaning the box and the dream sign, because after I poured the dream sign, I said I would see you on demold, but it wasn't time to demold yet. So after this cures, then it will really be time to demold. So I'll see you soon. It is finally time to demold. So let's start with the dream sign. And remember, I poured the back coat of white off camera. So let's see how that turned out. I'm so excited. I woke up this morning to 109 subscribers. So thank you so much for your support. And there we go. Dream. I have a few bubbles, but I'm going to cover those up with some rhinestones. And yeah, other than that, I think it came out really nice. I really like the combination of the two colors. So that's that. Let's start with the bottom piece of the box. So I can see a few bubbles already. But this is the bottom piece, so I'm not concerned about it. So that looks good. No bubbles on the edge here on the top. Like I said, a few bubbles here, but this is the bottom piece. This is good. So that's that. So this piece, I'm hoping I don't have bubbles on the lip here. And I do see a few, but I can cover those up with rhinestones. It's definitely not as bad as other pieces I've poured with this mold. No micro bubbles, just a few regular bubbles, but I'll cover those with some rhinestones. But yeah, this looks great. No bubbles on the inside here, and it fits perfectly with the bottom piece. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put some stones on these and finish them up for you. I finished putting the rhinestones on the box. I put some over here in the corners and created a little pattern. I didn't want to overpower it too much because I don't want to take away from the decal itself. On the bottom, I added some rubber bumpers so that the box doesn't slip. So that's that. And then on the dream sign, I added the fuchsia rhinestones along the middle and added some clear rhinestones on the top and the bottom just to give that a little bit of a shine. Covered up some of those bubbles and it all turned out great. So thank you again for watching. I am so grateful to have the 109 subscribers that I had this morning, and I am looking forward to continuing to make videos. I look forward to hearing or seeing comments and likes. So have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all on Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time.